The old saying goes, talk is cheap. This court expects action, and this court expects its orders followed.
First at 6, a Milwaukee County judge making it clear he expects school resource officers back in MPS schools and soon, after the city missed today's deadline. It's a legal requirement that is more than 1 year past due.
However, the push for school resource officers to return to MPS is not welcomed by everyone.
In 2020, hundreds marched calling for an end to the contract between the school district and police department amid Black Lives Matter protests and movements to defund the police.
Ryan Jenkins spoke with former MPS board director and current president of the NAACP, Wisconsin, Wendell Harris. He explains why there are lingering concerns about returning police officers to school buildings.
I, as a parent, do not want my child in an unsafe environment with people that have terrorized communities. Police do not make schools safe.
The message was clear from hundreds of parents less than 5 years ago when the Milwaukee School Board voted to end its contract with the Milwaukee Police Department. But the debate over whether police officers belong in school buildings goes back even further.
I was in the middle of it, right at the beginning, and we had an idea of what we wanted from a police officer, and that all changed.
In 2008, Wendell Harris says it was partially his idea to bring school resource officers, or SROs, to Milwaukee Public Schools, an idea inspired by a friend who worked at a suburban police department.
His attitude, he's such a, he's just a great guy. He understood that the children that he was working with, they didn't need an occupier. They needed someone that they could respect, and that's what he did. He respected his students, and they gave him respect.
Harris, a former Milwaukee School Board director, hoped to bring positive role models to schools, but noticed without the proper training and mindsets, tension built.
When I saw the attitude start to shift in the police officers who were coming into our buildings, as opposed to what we had bargained for when we brought them in initially, I saw that conflict rise in the building with those officers and our children.
By 2016, police officers were no longer in schools, but there were still a handful of SROs who worked near schools. In 2018, the U.S. Department of Education found black students at MPS received harsher discipline than white students. MPS agreed to work with federal leaders to end that discipline disparity.
I saw the quality of the officers change to something that we would not have supported if we known it was going to come to that.
In 2020, and in the wake of Black Lives Matter protests, the school board voted to end the district's nearly $500,000 a year contract with the police department. But today, because of a state law, the officers are being ordered back to schools.
Being a former school board director, I would be very upset to be caught up in this at this point.
Now, Harris says both the city and the district need to be intentional in order to avoid new disparities.
The people that put on the badge and the gun that we put in the school building, those people have to be constantly given training and reminded of where they'll be working and what we want from them. And that is that if they're in the buildings, and they will be, that they try to maintain peace and order by showing love and caring for the child, as opposed to the attitude that you're just a knucklehead and that's all you're going to ever be.
A call for protection and peace from a man hoping SROs can avoid adding tension and conflict. Reporting in Milwaukee, Ryan Jenkins, TMJ4 News.
And much more happened in court today, including the city being held in contempt of court and potentially on the hook for thousands of dollars in fines. You can find all the details at tmj4.com.